What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Shadow Realm, where today we're going to be setting up a little display for my surfing Blue-Eyes White Dragon. Alright guys, so welcome back to another video for what should be a pretty interesting one because I'm not entirely sure how this is going to go. But today we are finally going to go about setting up a little display for this thing right here. So if you guys remember from a couple of videos ago, this thing right here is the recent Konami Japan X Japan Post collaboration, the YuGiOh Surfing Blue-Eyes White Dragon collab. So we are finally setting this thing up in a little display of its own. So the original plan was to always have it framed in one of these. This is just one of these big generic frames from Kmart, local Kmart here in Australia, but this is one of their frames. I thought the kind of opened folder would look cool in this frame, so I was gonna do that, but I was thinking, once you put it in the frame, how am I gonna display the card? Because if you remember, for the card, I made a cool little display for that as well. So this is one of the Prismatic God Box Konami screw down cases. So I made this cool little kind of display border thing for it, and I really like the way it turned out. So this is what one of these screw downs looks like, how you get it from Konami. It comes with this style border, so you know, I really wanted to keep it in this case, but also have it displayed somehow. And so I started to really think, how could I display this thing in the case, but also in the frame? So the creative juices started to flow, the wheels started to turn in my head, and then I kind of came up with something that I think will work. Now, a lot of people have been grading this card, and I think I mentioned it in my previous video where I reviewed the whole set, but I don't think there's much point in grading this card. Like, the production numbers on this thing are through the roof. Like, I think there must be thousands and thousands of these things across the world, literally. So many people pre-ordered them and they made so many of them. And then secondly, it is OCG promo card quality. So literally all of the cards are amazing, fantastic A++ quality. So I'm pretty sure they're all gonna grade PSA 10s across the board. Like, actually, it would be interesting to see the population report on this if people have been grading these with PSA to see the pop numbers, but the overwhelming majority must be PSA 10. So for that fact, I'm not sure if there's any big point in grading this card, so I'm more than happy to keep it like this and display it like this. But yeah, these Prismatic God Box cases, if you don't know how they work, they are screw down cases, so they screw together. These 4 posts on the case here, they are screws. So there are screws on the back, and they kind of screw together and join these 2 pieces of plastic together. I don't think it's acrylic, but it's like some high quality plastic. But it screws these 2 pieces together, and that is how the case kind of comes together. I'm really quite fond, actually, of the back of the cases. So I really, for some reason, really like the way the backs of the cards look, especially against the black background. I don't know why, it just looks pleasing to me. Like, I like the way that looks. But anyway, my idea for mounting this thing to the frame is with magnets. So with magnets, I thought, if I could somehow get 4 magnets onto here, I could put some magnets in the frame and attach this guy onto the frame, and that way I could remove this whenever I wanted to look at the card and still have it displayed in this case, pretty cool, with the whole rest of the booklet and everything like that. So with that in mind, I managed to find / make these. This has been like a couple weeks in the making, guys, but I managed to find these. So these are little magnets. I think they use these for mounting lights to ceilings. Don't ask me why, but that's what these are for. But I managed to find some of these and I had to modify them a little bit, but these essentially will replace the screws in the case. So now, instead of the screws in the back, I will have magnets. And then of course on the other side, inside the frame, I will either have these are like some little circle magnets, or I've got these bigger flat bar magnets, which are like way stronger. So the reason I've got 2 sizes of these was I'm not sure what power of magnet I would need, how powerful I would need it to be. And of course, the other side, the small magnet obviously is a lot less strong than the big flat bar magnet. So I didn't want to risk any chance of that thing falling off the frame. I'm not sure if this is even going to work, guys. So this is going to be a journey for both of us, but I think I'm going to start with the big boy magnet. I mean, I'll do both options so we can compare. But I will do the big magnet, the small magnet, and of course the big and the small on the back here. But yeah, let's try some of these magnets in the frames first now, and then we will try to put everything in the frame and see how it goes. All right, so let me show you guys here. Let's go with the actual surfing Blue-Eyes. So the way these cases work they are screws. So let's unscrew the screws from the back. Okay, and then with the screws out, the whole thing comes apart like that. And so it's two pieces. On the front of it, you've got the kind of captive side of it, the nut side of it. So there's the nut, there's the screw. Let's get the magnets in and then see how this kind of goes. For the actual surfing blue eyes, I want to try to use the big magnets. So I'm going to do that and be right back soon.
A few moments later.
Alright guys, so this is the last one here. Let's just show you this. So you put the captive side in, and then so these new ones are just like thumb screws. You just do them with your thumb because obviously there's no like Phillips head or flat head. Alright, just screw it with your thumb. Honestly, it gets pretty tight with just your finger and your thumb, like hand tight. But there is one there. That is one with the smaller magnets, and there is on the front. Looks like normal. And then this one, I have the bigger magnets on it. So obviously, the bigger magnets are a bit more ugly. Like they're huge. Look at the size of them. These kind of look more like the OEM factory style magnets, a lot smaller. But obviously, they're going to be a lot less strong. They're going to be a lot weaker magnets when compared to the big ones. So I don't know how much magnet force I'm going to need, how much suction power I'm going to need. But I'm going to go with the big and the small. We'll see what we can do with the frame. But like an inadvertent thing with this is if you have multiple of these cases with the magnets on the back, they kind of snap together. They kind of go together. Like it's not very strong, but like they kind of go together. So let's try the small one on the front. Small magnets for science. Yeah, there you go. They stick together. If it's a small one, because it's a lot lighter. Because like the big ones are a lot heavier, I've got to say. But yeah, there is that. Let's get the booklet into the frame and then figure out how I'm going to get these bar magnets or these little circle magnets into the frame and to attach these things on there. So be right back. Alright guys, so this is sort of it here. Let me try to pull this thing up. So there it is in the frame. Obviously the card is going to have to go in this blank spot here. So if I put this back down, the card is going to go in this section. So I need to put magnets on the back here somehow. So this whole frame does come with this huge cardboard piece here. So I think I'm going to try to attach the magnets with tape or glue to this cardboard piece in the right spot, which is going to be another challenge in itself, but in the right spot somewhere there, and then hopefully through the book and through the front of the frame, the plastic, hopefully there's enough magnetic strength for these guys to stick on there, because they are pretty strong. That's why I went with the big ones, because I think I'm going to need that super strength, but maybe the small ones will do. For the actual magnets that go in the frame itself, I think I'm not going to muck around with the little ones. I think I'm going to go straight with the flat bar magnets, just go straight with the stronger ones. So I'm going to mount these flat bars somewhere on the back here, and then we'll be back with more progress. Alright guys, I got the approximate location of where the magnets need to be. So you saw I kind of measured out the distance from the top to the side, kind of matched it out on this back piece of cardboard. And then we can actually kind of double check it with one of these. This is the Konami border, so where the screw holes are supposed to be. And yeah, it sort of lines up. It's sort of where it's supposed to be. So that is where that needs to be. And the fact that the bar magnets are kind of oversized, so these are kind of a lot bigger than the holes anyway is a good thing, because that means we have a little bit of adjustability on where we can position the final piece, the final case, because of the fact that the magnets are so big. So with that being said, let me try to find a way to attach these magnets to this cardboard. I think I'm just gonna glue them, or maybe some hardcore double-sided tape. But let's not mess the polarity up, because we don't want to put these on backwards. So let's put the magnets there. Let's take this off to the side. Actually, let's put it right next to it. So these are going to need to attach to these. So, okay, so that is the side. And yeah, it's kind of a good thing, because if it's not straight, if it's crooked a bit, we can kind of adjust it as it's on there. Okay, so these need to go down like this. Let me do that right now. I think I'm going to use some double-sided tape, and then I'll be right back as well. Alright guys, so here are the magnets. I ended up just using some of this badass like double-sided mounting tape, 3M mounting tape that I had. It doesn't need to be too crazy, because this whole thing is going to be like compression fit behind the frame anyway, because the back of the frame is going to be pressing down on that. And yeah, like I said, it's kind of a good thing that the magnets are oversized, because it gives us some wiggle room for like error. So we can, if it's anything is misaligned or not straight, we can kind of play with it, play with the kind of space that we have. But let's flip this big frame back over, get this cardboard piece in there, and then we can actually test if the magnetic strength is strong enough to hold these two things on there like that. So let's get it all done. Alright guys, this is it. This is it. The frame is in, the magnets are in, the booklet is in. This is the moment of truth. So it looks pretty good. It looks pretty normal. This is, the front piece is not glass. This is not a glass frame. This is actually like plastic. So it's not the like best quality frame, but because of that, it's kind of a good thing. It's thinner and it's lightweight, so it does look pretty sweet. So I guess the moment of truth is now. Let's try it out. Let's do it on this main camera here. I'll hold it up. Actually, is this gonna work? Alright. I'll hold it up, and then let's try to put the case where the magnet goes, where I think it's supposed to go. That's legit! The power is crazy. That is legitimate. Alright, let's try the small magnet. Let's try the case with the small magnet, because it does look better, honestly. Is it? Ooh. That was legit. That's plenty strong enough. That is really... So the smaller magnets, I think, are the way to go. It looks better, and it is just... Oh, okay, that didn't feel as good. I mean, that's strong enough. That is not going anywhere. Like, there's no risk of that thing moving, but obviously the big magnets are way stronger. Maybe Ooh, that snap was crazy. Oh, that is way stronger than the small ones, but that is almost too much. But I'm just having too much fun here. Oh, okay, it is a lot weaker. You can kind of see it. I don't know if you guys can feel it through the camera, but of course we have some adjustability because the bar magnets are so long. I don't want to drag it too much because I'm going to scratch the plastic, but you can kind of see. That is sweet. That turned out way better. That turned out way better than I thought it was going to. That is awesome. Look at this thing. So maybe I do swap out the small magnet, but boom. And then we can make it straight or whatever, but look at that. That is crazy. So now we have a framed up set with the card in an awesome case that we can take off and admire whenever we want. And when we're finished looking at it, boom, back on there, and now it's on the thing again. That is sick. That turned out way better than I thought. The only thing left is to put this thing on the wall somewhere, and then we can finally get some final thoughts and pictures. Okay, this thing is way off center. Okay, let me try to, because we have room. Okay, that's what I was saying about the bar magnets. Because they're so oversized, we can adjust it and have it in the center. But Yeah, this is awesome. Tell me this isn't cool. Maybe I'll try to find a place on the wall for it, and then we'll put it up, and then we'll get some proper final shots of this thing. But look at that. All right, one last time. Take this off. We'll put the blue eyes with the small magnets. Boom. Tell me that's not sick. All right, back to the surfing blue eyes. That is awesome. All right, where should we put this thing? Back here somewhere. Maybe there? Maybe somewhere there. Okay, that looks pretty good actually. That looks pretty sweet. Alright, it looks pretty good there. Be right back, let me get it up there. Alright guys, so I just got it up on the wall right next to the two Dark Magician Girl prints, the awesome Ichiban Kuji prints that I got. But there it is, check it out. The YuGiOh style Surfing Blue-Eyes White Dragon, Konami Japan Post collab, all framed up. And now we can have our awesome card on there as well. Look at that, that is awesome. And of course, it actually centered itself pretty good. But we do have a little bit of adjustability there with the whole magnets, but that is awesome. We have the whole thing displayed like that. And then, you know, every now and then when you want to check out your card, admire your card a bit, just pull it off. Just pull it off, admire it a bit, have a look. Pretty awesome. And when you're done, slap it back on there. It's ready to go like that. That is awesome. That turned out way better than I ever expected. But you guys, let me know what you think. I think that is pretty sweet. I think that is pretty awesome. Let me know if you guys are interested in something like that. If there are enough people interested, I might consider like selling the hardware, the magnets, for you guys to do it yourself. So I did source those, but I did have to modify them a little bit. So it's not like the easiest, it's not the most straightforward thing to do, but it's not that crazy hard either. So let me know what you guys thought of the awesome YuGiOh Blue-Eyes display. Like I said in my previous video, I think this is one of the best Yu-Gi-Oh collabs that have come out in like the last couple years, but now we have it displayed all awesome. Let's do it one more time because it's just so cool. Thank you to you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.